I've seen a new, I don't know if anybody else has seen this in Vancouver. I've seen a new crop of street canvassers. And I have never stopped because I'm not naive, but they have no, I need to build you a story here, okay? They have no signage at all. They have, so normally when you're walking, you'll see like a big, like a placard that has like a crab nebula on it or something, and then says like, do you feel satisfied? And then that frames a bookshelf that has a bunch of books and pamphlets. And then there's two 6'4", 55-year-old men in like a sweater with a button-up shirt and a tie, but the sweater's over top, and then it's tucked into like gray slacks. And you're like, those are Scientologists. 100%. There's no, you could spot it a mile away. When you walk by, they go, and you go, and there's not, you don't have to be impolite about it, but you just move on. But there's a new one that I've seen, and it's been like a month of this. It's really young, like vibrant canvassers, no charity branding or anything like that. They don't have like a product or anything. They just sort of have like a table, and they're at the like very high foot traffic areas. They're kind of dancing. They're going, and then when they see you, they go, oh my God, I love your shoes. And then the first, I hate to say it, but I've lived in a city for a while. My response to, hey, I love your shoes is always, sorry, I'm not interested. And to their credit, they don't push, because I don't think the push ever works anyway, but they just go, okay. And then they keep dancing and they're like on to the next target. But I do have to say, I'm very curious about, and maybe this is what they're trading on in a marketing term, so to speak, but like, I'm very curious about what they're pushing because of the fact that they've mixed it up a little bit. They're not doing the traditional, like, you know, annoy you technique. I gotta, well, I'm never gonna stop, because obviously, like, if it's something that good, they wouldn't have to sell it on the street like that. But I would like to know what it is, because they got a different tact. And I see them stopping people all the time. Like, people are, I wouldn't say it's working like 50% of the time, but I would definitely say it's got people stopping much more than they stop for like, hey, I love your shoes. By the way, like, you want to donate $100 a month to this charity? They're revolutionizing the canvassing game. Talk to them for the anecdote? No, I don't want to talk to them. I just want to know. Just want to know, please. Is it better to hard turn down a solicitor or treat them like a human being and then turn them down? You should just know, right? I guess I put the cart in front of the horse here. You should know you're being sold to just by the way an interaction starts. Like, did they come to your door and they're a stranger and they start with like, hi, how are you? If you come to my door and the first question you ask is, how are you? You don't want the honest answer, because the honest answer is that I was great until about 30 seconds ago. And now I'm wondering why there's a stranger at my door who wants to talk to me. So like in that situation, as soon, if I said hi, and then you said, how are you? My next question, or my next statement would be, sorry, I'm not interested. Because obviously this is like a sales pitch. So I think in that situation, you just, I don't know. Have you ever bought something like door to door? I never would. Because it has to be ass. I would say if a child came to my door and was like, here's Girl Scout cookies or, you know, chocolates for my school charity or something like that, yes. If an adult came to my door trying to sell something, there's a 0% chance. So I'm not going to waste both of our time. I sell door to door. It honestly isn't too hard. I don't know, man. I feel like it might be like a demographic thing. I can't imagine anybody my age ever buying anything door to door. It seems unfathomable to me. I don't even want to answer my door. This is another episode of shit my mom says. I hope nobody's taken this idea. And I love my mom, but I just, the texts we have are funny, because like Ed Sheeran's song on Sesame Street, sometimes we live in two different worlds, okay? That's a little bit of a deep cut for you. But, so one time, there was a knock on my door at like 7:30 a.m. And I went down to see what was going on. And it was an officer of the law. So I opened the door, and I was like, hello? And he said, good morning. We're here because, like, there was a break-in nearby, and we were wondering, like, if you had seen anything or if you had heard anything in the night. And I was like, oh, no, sorry. And he said, okay, have a good day. He didn't need to know. I saw every second of that shit go down. I saw their face. I got their name. I saw what they stole, and I'm just joking. Anyway, so I told my mom, I was like, oh, I'm a little tired because I got woken up because a cop knocked on our door this morning. And she said, Ryan, never open the door for someone in a police officer's uniform, because that could just be, I know you're like, based mom, but wait. Never open the door for someone in a police officer's uniform, because that could just be someone pretending to be a police officer, and then they will kill you. Which I know is a thing that could happen, but also they could just not dress as a police officer and kill you. Is the, they'd like, I would have opened the, well, I guess it's 7:30 a.m. I wouldn't have opened the door for just anybody. But if they just knocked at like 2 p.m., I would at least open the door, and then they could be like, bang, you know? But I guess if you specifically wanted to murder people in the sunrise hour, maybe it's a special technique. But yeah, I don't want to open my door. Like, I don't want to... Every form of interaction with strangers is compromised. Can't use voicemail anymore. 99% spam calls. 1% some lady in Vancouver who thinks she has my phone number and keeps giving my phone number to, like, doctor's offices and stuff like that, which I imagine has probably screwed up her life pretty bad, but, like, I got my own shit going on, sorry to say. Email, sure, yeah, but it's still, like, very high spam coefficients, or if not, like, spam is one thing. Obviously, like, spam is bad. Even more annoying than spam these days is just, like, the endless marketing materials from businesses that you went to, like, 1 to 2 times in your life. I know you can unsubscribe, but I'm just saying it's annoying. How are you still getting this lady's calls? Bro, I'm telling you, she sucks. She's, like, ass at handling appointments and stuff, dude. She's horrible. Door to door is the worst. Like, as far as I'm concerned, I would really only open my door to be arrested, I think. If maybe I ordered a pizza, but the pizza didn't have the ability to do, like, prepay online so they could just leave it at the door, there's only one reason to open the door, and I think that's to be arrested and then go to prison. For a stranger, at least. All the forms of communication are bad. But definitely, there's never been a situation on the street where I've been stopped by a stranger and been like, oh, I'm really glad that happened. And I swear to you, this story is true. I wouldn't say I feared for my life, but on my very cursed walk with the baby on Tuesday, where it felt like I was walking through molasses, there was a guy, and it's just what you ever see people, you know, in Diablo 2, there's like champion enemies. That's like, oh, it's the same as a normal enemy, but they got like a special, like lightning damage or something like that, and thus they get a name. So instead of just being like a grunt, they're like, my name is Pig Thor the Blasted, or something like that. I saw a champion enemy IRL, in IRL space, and he was like 6'5", completely bald, and was wearing a bucket hat. Like, he looked like he came straight out of the Len Steal My Sunshine music video. And he was walking in the same direction that I was, and I was not scared. But he was walking with like some rhythm, right? It wasn't like a walk just for utility. Like, he was getting some sauce out of it, and he was walking with a young lady. Then he turned around and he started walking towards me while I was walking towards him. And I was like, oh no, something's gonna, my like acetylcholine started to spike a little bit, right? Luckily, he stopped at someone that was like 2 people in front of me. And I heard him say, hey man, settle a bet for me and my wife. Do you lean right or lean left? And then the guy said, I guess I'm more of in the center. And then he turned to his wife and he shouted, you were right! And then like jogged back up to her. And then it was just like, it was an interaction I was very thankful to have avoided. Just a very strange question to have to deal with, I guess. Weirdly wholesome. Is it wholesome, though? Because I felt like if he said, I lean left, he might have been punched in the face by this champion enemy. Or if he said, I lean right, maybe he would have been punched in the face. But I was kind of getting the vibe that, like, there was a wrong answer to the question. Also, I don't know if it's like, maybe it's like tourist energy or something. It's like a tourist will come to your city, go on a walk, and be like, oh yeah, I know everything about, like, the way people in Vancouver feel about politics. Because I talked to one person on the street, and they said they lean to the center. So I was like, bro, you're not getting the representative sample of what Vancouver is like. We're out for a nature walk. It's like 3 p.m. on a Tuesday, dude. Normal people are at work right now. You were talking politics? No, man, I was playing Pokemon Go. I completely thought it was a question about his penis. You guys are sick, dude. I too thought it was a penis question. I think it was about something much more private and intimate. Someone's political beliefs. Which would you answer? You're gonna think I'm putting some sauce on it. Anytime anyone talks to me about anything on the street, I simply say, sorry, not interested. Even before they can complete their sentence. And it has cost me 0 opportunities in my life. Except, because you get the vibe, people come up to you and they say, excuse me, are you northernlion? And I'm like, okay, sorry, not interested. Most of the time, I don't even let them finish their sentence, please. Nobody is out on the sidewalk being like, we're giving away $1 million to the nicest person. Hey, great shoes, here's $1 million. It's always like, you know, well, I really like your shoes. By the way, would you like to buy some, like, bullshit? Someone asks for directions, you just shoos them away. Okay, well, to be fair, I did. An older woman said, excuse me, do you live around here? Which, again, you could tell she's a boomer because there's a question that no millennial or zoomer would ever lead with because it's fucking crazy. But I said, you know, I'm familiar with the area. And then she said, are there any restaurants here? And I said, oh yeah, there's like a pizza place and a donair shop down this way. And then she walked in the other direction. But like, so occasionally I will answer some questions in public. But you get the vibe you're being solicited to. For sure. Otherwise, if somebody that was like, this is a little rude, but it's also a little bit in the real world. If like somebody that was my age came up to me and was like, excuse me, like, do you know where this place is? I would probably just say, no, sorry. Because in my head, the question I want to ask is, where's your phone? I'd just be a little concerned. I'm not saying, oh, you can't talk to me unless you own a smartphone. I'm just like, they're so ubiquitous that I feel like you've led with a question that's like, hey, do you self-identify as a nice person? And then when I say, yes, I'm a nice person, they go, okay, now here's the real routine that we're running here, which is give me all your money. This is a stick up. Oh yeah, do every nice thing ever. Anyway, why are you so distrustful of your fellow man? Let me guess. It's one of those things. You live in a town with 10,000 people. Everybody knows everybody. July 4th, you go to the church picnic. There's a pig roast and fireworks. You know the name of the person who mans the barrel that the pig is roasting in. Their parents knew your parents when they went to high school together. You all had kids within like 6 months of each other. It's a Goodwill Hunting situation. It's like Olive Garden. When you're here, you're family, okay? I don't live in the biggest city in the world. I live in a city that's big enough that, like, when a stranger talks to you, you're like, this can't mean something that's good for me overall. I think, you know, there's been times, like in my hometown, sometimes you'll just, like, get a free sample on the street. You'll just walk by a business and someone will be like, excuse me. And you're like, yeah? And they're like, here's like a little pita bread. And you're like, wow, that's awesome. In Vancouver, people will just like shout at you. You'll just be like walking around, you'll hear, hey! And if you even give them like that's enough that I'm not gonna say it's on, but you've at least acknowledged like that you heard them. You just gotta be like off in your own Emily in Paris situation in your head. Just like a white window, sing the song now, stand down, sing it. Am I clairvoyant or have you referenced Emily in Paris before? I think Chib referenced Emily in Paris once, and I've stolen that joke a little bit. Because anytime I see like a 25-year-old woman in public who's girl bossing and walking, she's driving a car to go with AirPods in and hitting the bumper of the car behind her when she's trying to parallel park. I'm like, don't bother her. She's having an Emily in Paris moment right now. She's experiencing what life is like in the big city as a young independent woman. She's got some kombucha. You can see she's got a Lee's Donuts t-shirt on. Like she's experiencing what urban life is like right now.